You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Welcome to Ascending Beyond Limitations, episode 55. We missed you last week. Thank you for being patient with me. I had an appointment that took a lot longer than expected, but I do ask your forgiveness, and I receive it if you give it with wholeness and balanced love. I'm going to begin this with a paragraph from a book that the divine led me to. It's just a small book. It's called Universal Laws, Unlocking the Secrets of the Universe. It says in the beginning, in the introduction, it's that feeling you get when you look up at the stars or witness a beautiful sunrise, that the sense of belonging and being a part of something much larger and deeper than all of us inside. We all have that higher sense that there is more to life than just work, paying bills, and watching television every night. That there is more out there than this. You begin to ask, who am I really? What is my purpose? There are many questions that many people have been starting to ask themselves. The questions stem from a sense of we are more than we perceive to be, and there is some other reason or destiny for our existence. The answers are hidden in the natural laws of the universe. The divine wanted me to tell you that you are the natural law of the universe. You are it impeccably. You were created so that you can feel it, see it, and touch it, and take it in internally. And then you're to grow from your root to your sacral to your solar plexus, and then expand in your heart chakra. If anywhere that you get, your heart chakra will open up to you the answer to every question you ever have about the internal you. Not just internal, eternal you. So Ra isn't the only person that or entity that is giving you information today. It's tapping into whatever you have already taken in from another place, and it's becoming or showing you how to intersect with your authentic you. That authentic you came from the realm of absolute, or you may call it heaven, or you may call it the matrix realm or the illusion realm. But you are it. There is no one greater than you. No one. You, when you look at someone else that's going through a detrimental time or a time of discord or discomfort, that's just another version of you seeing the expression of the divine within you. That's all Ra ever wants you to know, is that you are already you, impeccably. If you have to use the word perfect, perfect in every way. When you bump up against the realm of the quantum energy that surrounds you, when your physical form bumps up against it, it's just another expansion for learning more of who you are, for the deep dive. So here we are, episode 55. This new moment, with whatever you call it, new day, new eternal moment, new now moment, Wednesday. Here we are. We're back again. Over to you, Marcus.
Grand day, everybody. If we may, let's get ourselves comfortable and get ourselves relaxed and rest our body. And if you would like to, we're going to do a nice little clearing of our energy field, and we're going to ground into this space so it can be present, clear, and allow the clarity of Ra to come through us in a divine way today. So I have this wonderful bell that I'm going to utilize. And this is a bell from a Krishna temple from the Palace of Gold in Moundsville, West Virginia. So I'll be using this bell, a little bit of Palo Santo as well, and then a little bit of guidance with the breath. So go ahead and get comfortable if you'd like to receive. And then kind of have your back as straight as you can, so you're supporting your spine and your energy. And then relax your shoulders down to the side. And then make sure you're not gripping your teeth, clenching. And then having your feet nice and flat on the ground, not curling your toes. And then start to focus on the breath. You may begin to breathe in through the nose. Draw that breath in, and then draw it all the way down the body. And then exhale out of the mouth. Breathing in through the nose. Drawing the breath all the way down the chakras to the earth. Then exhaling out of the mouth. Continue to focus on this breath, as we will go ahead and cleanse, ground, and purify. Staying with the breath. Continuing to breathe as our energies break up. We begin to loosen any stagnation, any density causing dis-ease through our being, with the breath guiding this energies out of our aura and back to source. And the Palo Santo spirit now smudges and clears our auras and energy fields. And with every breath, we support this energy and this process. Now taking a couple of breaths, and with these breaths, focusing our energy down to the earth, grounding our energy, our mind, our emotions, our nervous system, grounding it all with Mother Gaia into peace, tranquility, and harmony with our multidimensional layers and physicality. And we are now opening our vessels to the sun of Ra, to the rays of the divine, to channel and flow through us with clarity in the ways that we need authentically for our individual self. And I trust this, and so it is. Ashe. Thank you for joining us for episode 55, Sending Beyond Limitations. Get comfortable and enjoy. Back to you, Sandee.
That felt so magnificent. It's wonderful to let go of stagnant energy. That's all it is energy. Energy, as Ra says, and many other holistic practitioners and ministers, and even pastors. Energy is here to serve us. It has a consciousness. It's constantly tuned into us. It is not only just a part of us. That's what our soul or our higher being is the energy of consciousness. But it surrounds us. It's the quantum field of everything that it wants to be. Infinite possibilities. It could see itself as whatever we call it to be. And we don't have to be. We are conscious about being aware that we are a body and we have a mind and we are living an experience. But we don't have to be aware of it. The moment you become aware of it, you are so tapped in to the infinite within you. For me, I couldn't turn back. I couldn't go back to what you might call sleep once I became aware of it. Once I became aware that not only am I an energy source in this form body, but that energy was at my beck and call. I was the Merlin of my energy. That's what we're here to do. We're here to do many, many things. But with our awakening, each individual awakening that we have, we put out energy to help others have a recalling. Their higher beings open up and say, oh yeah, I'm part of this experience. And every minister and reverend and a spiritual teacher and whatever their religiosity is, they're here to awaken us. We are here to touch the polarities. Whether we call them negative or positive, they give us an experience to have us awaken and allow our higher beings to recall where we came from, what was our purpose to come here and experience this duality, this duality within reality. Why did we want to touch it? Why did we want to create from it? And then guess what? We shift. Whether we feel it or not, whether we believe it's happening or not, we shift and we evolve. And then, like washing your hair, wash, rinse, and repeat until the moment that we let go of this physical form, whenever that may be. Who knows? It might be tomorrow. Who knows? You might live till you're 200. Whenever the body lets go, or that soul or higher being says, I'm done, then no matter how much you want to stay, your body says, okay, I release you. Isn't happening. The divine told me I might not feel it. I may be so enthused with this physical life, but when my soul says I've learned enough, I'll go to sleep. My body will release. Somebody is dealing with this release right now, death. It's okay to mourn, because that's what the human body does. The human mind does. You're part of that. Don't resist it. Somebody's going through resisting it, and it hurts even more. You'll know when to let go. And if it's hard, seek someone, even if it's a friend. They might not see death as you see it, but definitely they may be able to have a conversation where you can discern something from it. So we are going to get started, right? We are on session 60, page 62. Ra says, I am Ra. I greet you in the law of love and in the light of the one infinite creator. We communicate with you now. The questioner says, when you spoke in the last session of energizing shocks coming from the top of the pyramid, did you mean that these came at intervals rather than steadily? I am Ra. These energizing shocks come at discrete intervals, but come very, very close together in a properly functioning pyramid shape. In one whose dimensions have gone awry, the energy will not be released with regularly or quanta, as you may perhaps better understand our meaning. Question. The next statement that I will make may or may not be enlightening to me in my investigation of the pyramid energy, but it has occurred to me that the effects of those so-called Bermuda triangles would be possibly due to a large pyramid beneath the water, which releases the third spiral in discrete and varying intervals. Entities of craft that are in the vicinity may change their space-time continuum in some way, and is this correct? Now, we read this first half on our last podcast, on our last live. And here is where the divine says we start again. So I hope you're up to speed, because here we go. I am Ra. Yes. That's all Ra says. Yes, period. The questioner says, then this third spiral, and we were talking about spirals before, has an energizing effect that, if strong enough, will actually change the space-time continuum. Is there a use or value for this type of change? I am Ra. In the hands of one of fifth density or above, this particular energy may be tapped in order to communicate information. love or light across what you would consider vast differences or distance. The divine just told me differences. But what's actually written here is distance. Differences is for someone who's dealing with something that thinks it's so far away that they can't deal with it. Bring it home. Home is you. Okay, let's keep going. But with this energy may be considered trans-dimensional leaps. Also, there is the possibility of travel using this information of energy. The divine wants you to know something, that you don't have to die to go to fourth density. You don't have to die and then come back, reincarnate, and then take the next step. We are allowed to do this shifting in our form body. We are allowed to move into fourth density consciousness in this body, or fifth density consciousness in this body. And we can shift into interdimensional movement in our body. You're not required to, but you were put here with those possibilities. Okay? The questioner says, would this travel be the instantaneous type used primarily by sixth density entities, or is it the slingshot effect that you are talking about? I am wrong. The former effect is that of which we speak. You may note that as one learns the, shall we say, understandings and disciplines of the personality, each of these configurations of prana is available to the entity without the aid of the shape. One may view the pyramid at Giza as metaphysical training wheels. The pyramids were our training wheels. Now we have all that energy called our chakras within us that we are becoming aware of, or you can say we are waking up to. The questioners ask, then is the large underwater pyramid off the Florida coast one of the balancing pyramids that Ra constructed? Or did some other social memory complex construct it? And if so, which one? The ocean has so much story. I'm not going to say his story, has so much story to tell us, to inform us of. Ra says, I am Ra. That pyramid of which you speak was one of those constructed. Okay. Divine says, slow my roll. Take a sip of water. Okay. That pyramid of which you speak was one whose construction was aided by sixth density entities of a social memory complex working with the Atlanteans prior to our working with the, as you call them, Egyptians. So after Ra came and went with the Egyptians, left because they misused the information. Ra, that collective complex of Ra, thought they were ready for it. And it got misused by people who wanted to only use it for their power, who only wanted to hold on to it for their highest and greatest good and not share it with their collective, their people. And they weren't ready. So Ra left. The physical earth or the physical duality, but Ra, the collective entity, stayed to watch over us, watch us grow, and then find out or feel when we were ready. Meanwhile, there were other fifth and sixth density complexes that were interacting with other versions of beings that were here in this earth. Humanity, what we consider humanity, wasn't the only one. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. The questioner says, you mentioned working with one other group other than the Egyptians. Who were they? Good. My pages are sticking. I am Ra. These entities were those of South America. We divided our forces to work with them within these two cultures. Now we understand why some of the cultures in their yes, why everything looks so familiar. And the human beings, the historians say, well, how could they be there and here? You know, how could they be bridging all this information? How can the hieroglyphics look the same? How could they have these pyramids that are built with the same dimensions, but built with different materials? Rod just blew it out the water for you. That was a submarine bomb, right? The questioner said, the pyramid shape then, as I understand it, was deemed by your social memory complex to be at the time of paramount importance as the physical training aid for spiritual development. At this particular time in the evolution of our planet, it seems that you place little or no emphasis on this shape. Is this correct? This is correct. The divine wants you to know that he begins his explanation with, this is correct. Yeah, we don't put any emphasis on the shape. And the divine says, because it is. It doesn't need to be explained. It is. But we'll explain it if you need to know more. It is our honor/duty to attempt to remove the distortions that the use of this shape has caused in the thinking of your people and in the activity of some of your entities. Distortions. We created distortions. When Ra came to walk with us 13,000 years ago, or millions or billions, whatever is in their time frame, we distorted it. They gave it to us as is. And then when we distorted it, they said, oh, you're not ready. We got to go. They didn't put in any emphasis in it because they knew energy. It just was. All we were supposed to do was embrace it. Go with the flow. Go with the flow of least resistance to unconditionally love and share the vibration of the law of love and the law of one. Oh man, I'm vibrating all the way to the tips of my little toes, from my crown chakra to the roots of my toes, listening to that. Ra says, we do not deny that such shapes are efficacious. I'd never heard this word before. It never flowed from my mouth. So I'm going to spell it, and then you guys can look up what Ra means by this. It's EFFICACIOUS. Nor do we withhold the general gist of the efficacy. I think that they're not holding back from the meaning of it. I don't think they're just trying not to usurp our free will by telling us too much or giving it to us as this is really so, this is what you need to do, and usurping our free will by not allowing you to discern it. take it in and discern it and use the information based on where you flow at that moment. With the flow, right?
Sure.
However, we wish to offer you our understanding, limited through it, though it is, that contrary to our naive belief, many thousands of your years ago, the optimum shape for initiation does not exist. The pyramids existed, but how you were supposed to use it didn't exist. It was just what it was. Like the divine says, I am that I am, and that I am not. You figure out how to use it. Back to you, Marcus. Actually, I want to switch it over to Marcus for that first paragraph of the answer, because Ra was talking up a storm with this one. So it's a continuation. All right. Back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or over to you.
Wow. Talk about coming through with clarity today. Dang. Like, wow. What I really love about this series, and I say series because it's more than one book. There's 5 books, and we're on the 3rd book now. What I really love about this series is that you get such definitive, clear-cut, and transparent answers about some of the most lingering questions in all of humanity that you may feel like you'll never have the answer to. But here we are, time after time, episode after episode, getting delivered with the full transparency of how the pyramids are built, what the pyramids are here for, what Yeshua was, what Jesus was on a soul level, including even what Hitler was on a soul level. We're learning so much about so many different large questions that are typically ingrained in the psyche of humanity that we constantly in our loops of and never really find the answers. But here we are again today, and Ra is delivering to us the clarity of why is it that the pyramids that are in Africa, in Egypt, why are they so similar to the pyramids and the temples in Central America and South America? And then Ra just tells us, well, pretty much we've dispersed our teachings, we've dispersed our channelings, our divine information of how to construct and how to build with the universe to that area as well as Africa. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense too, because like, you know, you hear about these discoveries and all these different things that have been happening throughout time. And you even may hear about here in America. And when I say America, I mean the whole entire land, as in North America, South America. You find pyramid structures. You find ancient Egyptian statues. You find identical and very similar to what's in Egypt. For example, you go out to Arizona out in Sedona, there's kind of like a hidden place that has Egyptian-like things within the nature there, temples and the way that they structured it. Then you can go to places like, I believe, Georgia, and I think there's another place as well. Oh, Memphis, Tennessee. So just like how there's a Memphis in Egypt, there's a Memphis in Tennessee. And in Memphis, Tennessee, they have the largest And we hear about, and then you hear about scientists, people giving their theories. Some people say, oh, well, Egypt was on America, not in Africa. Or Egypt was in South America, not in Africa. But what I've been receiving and getting is that it's not about one or the other, it's about all of it. And the fact that it's not exactly about Egyptian, it's about the energy, it's about the signatures, it's about the fine details within the constructs and the way of life that's being spread around the world, more so than it being about a singular race or a singular culture. And I think that may be something that Ra is probably going to end up getting to, is kind of helping us understand as human beings that it's not about one or the other. It's about interconnection. It's about finding the connection that threads everything and being able to see how it relates, how it connects, how the information is built together. And then you can continue to build with that in relation with your authentic self. And as we continue to develop more into a fourth dimensional collective on this earth, we're going to kind of start balancing those hemispheres a little bit more. And instead of seeing things as this way, or it can only be that or only be that, we're going to start seeing things as, oh, I see, this can be here and this can be here, and they can have a relation with each other. It doesn't have to be that it's one or the other. They all have a place, and they're all active, and they all exist. And it's up to us and what we attune ourselves to. So yeah, it's truly amazing, because some of my favorite things are the Egyptian stuff and the Central American and South American culture. And it makes sense that, you know, they are very much tied together when it comes to the higher intelligence that's behind it. Because you think about, you know, the native way of the way they do archetypes, spirit animals, the way that the Egyptians, they connect with nature, they have their mythologies. You think about the way that they use nature-based medicines, the way they use spirit medicine, drums, and all these different things. It's very similar, just slightly different to a degree of the type of, I guess, genetics behind those beings, so to say. But really cool though. So it makes me wonder, like, I wonder if Quetzalcoatl has a direct relation to the Ra family. Like, that would be really cool to find out. And if I don't find out through this book, I'm definitely going to be meditating on it. Because funny thing is, my next guided meditation, my Yeshua series for everybody out there, which will be coming out this Sunday on 4/20 on Easter, is going to be a Yeshua Rose Gold meditation, guided meditation that I'm going to record and live stream for you guys. And it's going to be taking you into a journey into the Mayan sun pyramid. And we're going to connect with Quetzalcoatl and activate with Yeshua and Quetzalcoatl in that meditation. So I think it's really timely that this comes up when I'm about to be dropping it on Sunday on Easter. Wow. I'm feeling the joy and the love of life right now. That's all I got to say. Back to you.
Yes. Let me tell you one thing. When he was talking about it coming together, his fingers came together in like that. When he was saying it's about not one or the other, but he did that.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody noticed, but I did. When I even did this just now, I felt all this vibrational energy, this creative energy. And Ra was saying that at that same exact vibrational time, we separated. When Ra was saying we separated, it wasn't that they separated and they said, well, you go there and we'll go there. It's the expression of the one true creator being in everywhere all at once and not at all. And that's what they chose to do, because they were doing the same thing that we're called to do, to help vibrate, so everyone, their higher beings, can recall. That's all. My soul and Marcus's soul, they are connected. Our bodies and our conscious mind make them expressive and the word expressive and unique. So that unique and expressive part of the raw collective, the sixth density collective beingness, separated itself through expression to be at another point of expression. Earth consciousness is all one, but she expresses herself in what we now call states and cities and countries and districts, and that's Earth consciousness does not see herself separate from herself, but she will allow us to live a certain way. And she says, your wish is my command. You want to be live in a place on me called Panama, let it be so. You want to live in a part that's South America, let it be so. So next, Ra says, let us expand on this point. When we were aided by six density entities during our own third density experiment, or the divine told here again, the divine says experiment because that's what Earth consciousness wanted to do. She wanted to experience consciousness. The planet Earth, that's her body, just like Sandee has this body. And Earth consciousness said, I want to shift with my energy, but I want to do it in a physical form. Right? So here we are, Ra is saying, we came to third density experiences. We did that 12,000 years ago with the Egyptians. We, being less bellicose in the extreme, found that this teaching to be of help, right? They found that it was helping, that they were teaching them how to use the pyramids and how to build great reservoirs and grow and expand. In our naivety in third density, we had not developed the inner relationship of your barter or money systems and power. We were, in fact, a more philosophical third density planet than your own. See, they had already went through third density on a different planet. And they grew and they expanded and they became a sixth density collective being. They merged as one. And here they are waiting for the perfect time to come back so that they could teach us how to do that. But they had to do it without usurping our free will to grow and expand, or not to grow and expand, to stay the same. We all have that free will. We all have the ability to move along the polar densities. We can go up and down as much as we want, whenever we want. We can get stuck and stay stuck. But we do have the opportunity to become a sixth density collective being. They, being sixth density according to Ra, they are a vibration away from merging back with the one true creator. That's what seventh density is. Take it or leave it. Let it vibrate or not. You may have another creative story, but I guarantee you, if you look into that story, if you start to discern that story, all roads lead back to the one true creator, however you get there. Ross says, and our choices of polarity were much more centered about the, shall we say, understanding of sexual energy transfers and the appropriate relationships between self and other selves. When we dive into the sacral, as human beings, I've noticed that we use that word sexual instead of creative a lot more, but that energy is creative and sexual. Ross says, we spent at a much larger portion of our space/time working with the unmanifested being. In this less complex atmosphere, it was quite instructive to have this learn, teach device, and we benefited without the distortions we found occurring among your people. We have recorded these differences meticulously in the great record of creation, that such naivety shall not be necessary again. At this time, or at this space-time, we may best serve you, we believe, by stating that the pyramid for meditation along with other rounded and arched or pointed circular shapes is of help to you. However, it is our observation that due to the complexity of influences upon the unmanifested being at this space-time nexus among your planetary people, it is best that the process or progress of the mind-body-spirit complex take place without, as you call them, training aids. Because when using a training aid, an entity then takes upon itself the law of responsibility for the quickening or increased rate of learn teaching. If this greater understanding, if we may use this misnomer, is not put into practice in the moment by moment experience of the entity, then the usefulness of the training aid becomes negative. If you are, example, if you are so fixated and inundated with every word of the Bible being that, and you cannot deviate from or think outside the box on how to use every word in your day-to-day life, and you use it, exactly, you become limited. You give yourself no growth. I learned that through my childhood and well into my 20s. There was no room for growth, except when I always had that question that would just eat at me. What if? This doesn't feel right. What is? No matter what our training tools are, if we look at those training tools as the end all be all, we will create distortions for ourselves. And guess what? We were taught that when we create distortions for ourselves, don't look at the distortion, blame it on someone else. Then Ross says the tool isn't working. Back to you, Marcus.
What is this? Where'd this come from?
I think that was like a moment, right?
Yeah. My crowd chakra exploding from this information. Man. Oh, man. I love that last part. Like, what a way to finish that part. Like, if something is not working out for you, don't go blaming something outside of you, you know? And we all have to learn that at some point in this ride. And I've learned that time and time again, that blaming and shaming does not really get anywhere besides just a snowball effect of more energetic issues, really. And it's such a I've been having some deep reflections lately, really deep reflections, especially after, this past weekend I went to a retreat and I was teaching and facilitating out in Illinois. And this was a beautiful retreat, the first one of the spring, and very, very wonderful divine sisters that host it. And it was their first co-ed retreat, which I had the honor to be, the first male practitioner to hold space in their retreats. And just really observing and going through shadow work and going through ancestral healing and coming out of that into this new week, I've just really have been refined a little bit with the way I see things and the way I attach to things. And I just find it very intriguing the way that things are being shown to me now, of the contrasts and the differences of, like, what is it to be an embodiment of, codependency compared to being the embodiment of unconditional love and caring from unconditional love rather than codependency. That's the kind of details that, spirit and consciousness is flowing with me right now, is really breaking down and seeing these dynamics energetically of, like, seeing things for what they are on an energetic level, like non-judgment, non-labeling, but just seeing the energetics of, okay, if the energy is being used like this, then these are the kind of results that will take place from using the energy like this. So if I switch it to using it this way, maybe I can empower myself a little bit more by using it this way. That's the kind of mentality I have about speaking and doing these things. And it was just really interesting to kind of dissect and see the dynamics between, unconditionally loving something and being able to allow trust, faith, and also empowerment to take place, where you also believe in that other individual's empowerment abilities, and you also believe in that person's soul journey, and that they are to go through trials and tribulations because they signed up to do that in the first place, just like you did, and that we're all capable beings, even where we're at. And this was what really just, like, I've been letting go of this mentality, but this, like, really humbled me to the point where I just, like, have really, I think, became clear on really not wanting to do this much longer, is trying. All right, I don't word this in a specific way. Showing that I love and care unconditionally for others without trying to give my interjection of where I think they should be, how I think they should be, what I feel like is best for them, or what I feel like they should not be doing. And I've been really loving the process of honoring that. Because what I found is every time just about that I started to trail into what the other person's doing, what I feel like they need to correct, what I feel like they could do better at, and all these different things, I found that I was energetically and mentally and emotionally tangling myself into them. And then next thing I know, I'm like starting to feel my energy and my focus start to go over in this direction. And then I'm picking up and absorbing all of this stuff. And then on top of that, I'm starting to, and this is probably a key part, is I'm starting to take on their karmic energy when it wasn't even mine in the first place. So the more that I've just continued to just observe, hold space, listen, allow people to process how they need to, without feeling like I got to be the one to give them the answer, or to feel like I'm the one that has the answers, or trying to be like, oh, I feel like you should be this or that way. I've just really learned to step back and just be a listener, be an observer. And then if it's asked, share some insight, share a channel if it's asked for. But outside of that, I've really found the peace now with just being able to listen, being able to hold space, share, but not have to go to the lengths of, I need to hold on to making them this way, or I'm in fear that because they're going through a density right now, it's the end of the world, so therefore I gotta sacrifice myself for them. I've been really just letting go of that. And I just want to give kudos to all of you out there that have been going through similar and taking the steps. And for all of you that may be coming into patterns of that, hopefully this message was able to give you a little bit of something that can help you receive some insight into how you could potentially start to navigate and move around these energies. So with that, I'll hand it back to you.
So Danica says, out of the bowels of religious confine, rigid lines and borders, to swim freely in the expansive sphere of liquid light divinity.
Ooh.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Wow.
I mean, that's how I felt as I was growing, even from when I was a child. I felt like, and I asked a lot of questions. Everything isn't written in stone, and things that we create in form is meant to go back to the formless eventually. They're not meant to last forever. Our situations, our circumstances, conversations that we have that make us annoyed or irritate us, or we look at somebody and say, oh, they triggered me, and you focus on the person that triggered you. You don't focus on the fact that the trigger is within you and that you have the power to uproot the trigger, feel it, and you get to decide when you want to release it. You, not the person who triggered you, but you. It's in you. This is part of our creative story. We're supposed to grow and be fluid. Our physical body is always going to bump up against the fluidity of quantum energy. And we are quantum energy within us. You could take what resonates, leave what doesn't. The story will always rise to your occasion, no matter what the story is. A person that is totally religious has exactly the same free will right to express that story that they're being rigid in. Why? Because it's free will. It's another version of you, or an express version of the divine seeing itself in that form. It does not mean you have to play with them. You always have. That's the key to the kingdom of quantity. You have the key to say, I want to move somewhere else. I want to open another door. I want to close and lock this door for me and open another door. That's all it is. We were put here on this playground. We made it work. We chose the word work. It doesn't matter if somebody chose it for us and downloaded and encoded us in us. The moment we found out that we wanted to play more with the things that we do, we get to change it. And all Ra is saying is, I'm giving you the keys. I cannot usurp your free will to choose what you choose. So I'm going to lay the keys here on the table. You get to take them if you want them. And guess what? The table is your consciousness. You get to wake up to it if you want. You get to become aware of it if you want. That's your table. That's where the keys are. And I've been going through what Marcus has been going through. I'm surrendering. It's not a giving up. It's not like I can't do this. I'm going to punish myself. I'm not worthy. I'm going to surrender that I'm here to serve others. But if they don't want the service, I'm not going to make them take it. If I've already shifted and evolved fourth density, fifth density, and they're not wanting to come along with that, or they're not ready, I cannot make them. And I will not distress or distort myself because they don't want to come. But guess what? They're still in that story for a purpose to my story. I need to go find out why they're still there. And if they're still there and I find out why they're still there, then I get to do another thing. I get to surrender to them that I can tell them that they don't have to serve the contract anymore. If I'm looking at it and they're distorted by my growth and my expansion, and it's hurting them to see me grow and expand, I can relieve them of that soul contract to be part of that story. And they get to go wherever they want to go. That blew my mind. That the divine opened up to me. That is what I am in the learn, getting ready to teach progression or growth and expansion. I need to know more. So I'm in it trying to go, how do I serve others and also honor their free will right to continually come to me and continually ask me the same question and not get annoyed with it. Not be in judgment of them. That's where I'm going right now. It's like, whoa, right? Because if they keep coming to you with the same question, it's like, oh, damn, they're not listening to me at all. They're wasting my energy. They're trying to pull my energy. But maybe the soul contract that we had was that they were going to keep doing that until I said the right words that we're going to have them have that aware moment for their higher being to say, I got it. I'm awake. Because they keep coming back to me. Like Ross says, they're utilizing the tool, but they're not utilizing it the right way. They got to figure out the right way to utilize it. But I can't tell them that. Just like Ra can't tell us, you need to do it this way. Why? Because there's infinite ways for an individual to learn, to process, to grow, to expand, and then to shift and evolve. And they get to wash, rinse, and repeat, right? So here we go. The questioner says, thank you. I don't know if this question this question will result in any useful information. But I feel that I must ask, what was the Ark of the Covenant? Oh man, here we go. What was the Ark of the Covenant, and what was its use? Has
Wait,
everybody's
hold on.
Has everybody's jaw just dropped?
We get in one episode, we get the connection between South America and Egypt, and now we get the connection of, oh my gosh.
Okay. What was the Ark of the Covenant, and what was its use? I am Ra. The Ark of the Covenant was that place wherein those things most holy, according to the understanding of the one called Moishe, Moiseshe, were placed. Okay, while I'm reading, Marcus is going to look up that name, M-O-I-S-H-E. Okay. Now I don't know all of the first book of the Bible. I really can't be a teacher of that, because in my Baptist background they taught more of the New Testament than the Old Testament. So Ra goes on to say, the article placed therein has been called by your people 2 tablets called the 10 Commandments. There were not 2 tablets. Oh, there was one writing in scroll. This was placed along the most carefully written accounts by various entities of their beliefs concerning the creation by the one creator. This ark was designed to constitute the place wherefrom the priests, as you call those distorted towards the desire to serve their brothers, could draw their power and feel the presence of the one creator. However, it was to be noted that this entire arrangement was designed not by the one known to the Confederation as Yahweh, but rather was designed by negative entities preferring this method of creating in an elite called the Sons of Levi.
Whoa. This is like new information. Like,
New information?
Obviously not new, but like.
Well, in the Old Testament, you have the Sons of Levi.
Oh, okay.
You know. So if we go look up the Bible, and I suggest you do it. Like Ra says, don't take it verbatim. Go look it up yourself. Right? Sons of Levi. Go ask ChatGPT. Go ask Google. Or go pick up the Bible and look in the content and look up Levi, Sons of Levi, and read it. And read it. Before you read it, sit down, meditate, and ask the divine what the divine wants to share with you in this book. And be open to the answer. Right? So, but what Ra says is it was not designed by the one known to the Confederation as Yahweh. Yahweh is just what we were told God's name is. But God, whether you call it Almighty God or Matrix or, hold on a second. Yahweh or the Almighty or Jehovah, doesn't matter the name. They're talking about the one true creator. But the one true they're saying, but rather it was designed by negative entities preferring this method of creating as an elite called the Sons of Levi. It's no different than what you might look at as the push and pull from Republican and Democrat. They're both on the same side of, they're both on the flip of the coin. They're both pulling you in. They're both doing control, just a different way. That's all. They came here to do that. Their higher being said, I want to control. I want to see what the energy of control feels like. And then we came to play with them for a while till we decided that we didn't like the way they were controlling us. And we said, we're going to play in a different area of the playground. I'm going to use my free will key, and I'm not going to play on either side of that playground. At least that did it for me. I can't go and tell somebody else to do that, because I know what it felt for me to play. It did not feel good. I felt very limited in my choices. But that's me. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. The questioner then asks, was this a device for communication then? You also said that they drew power from it. What sort of power? How did this work? I am raw. This was charged by means of the materials with which it was built, being given an electromagnetic field. So the Ark of the Covenant was a magnetic field, electrical magnetic field. Have you ever watched, what is that movie with, I think it's called, oh God, I can't remember the name now. Actually, it was called the Ark of Covenant. It was the third trilogy in, what's the guy that used to be an architect, and he would have all these adventures. He would have all these adventures, and he would have the whip and oh God, I can't think of that.
Are you talking about Indiana Jones?
Oh yes, thank you very much.
Oh,
so the third episode of the third in the trilogy, I think it was the third, either the third or the fourth. I think it was the third. Was called the Ark of the Covenant. And when they showed the Ark of the Covenant being revealed and being open, it was a lot of electromagnet energy that pierced the men that wanted to use it for evil. It pierced them and disintegrated them. Go watch that movie. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of learning there. There's a lot of learn, teach there, right? Even though I couldn't remember the name of the movie. Indiana Jones. Matter of fact, watch all four trilogies of it. Not trilogy, or the fourth one was magnificent. Not to be, to spoil the story, but they tapped into aliens, extraterrestrials, vibrational beings that got caught in our dense energy. I'm just saying, it's about learn, teach, learn. Sometimes it's not about being, you can do all the studying you want. You can have all the books, but sometimes turn on your TV. They called it the boob tube so they could defer you from it. But that's a communication vector that we were supposed to be in. The divine says, I can communicate with you on any level of tool that you create to communicate with. I'm there. So there you go, the Ark of the Covenant. Indiana Jones. It became an object of power in this way. And to those whose faith became the untarnished by righteousness or separation, the power designed for negativity became positive, and is so. To those truly in harmony with the experience of the service, to this day. Thus, the negative forces were partially successful, but the positively oriented Moishe, M-O-I-S-H-E, as the entity was called, gave your planetary people the possibility of a path to the one infinite creator, which is completely positive. This is uncommon with each of your orthodox religious systems, which have all become somewhat mixed in orientation, yet offers a pure path to the one true creator, which is seen by the pure seeker. Back to you, Marcus.
Wow, how much fun. How much fun is it to be bringing in the classic movies, connecting the multidimensional messages. It's just so much fun. This is what I really live for here. It's like being able to have that fun connectiveness between so many different dimensions of life, you know? Oh, it's 222 over here. Because one thing about me is that I'm very much about variety, diversity, and interconnectedness. And, being a Gemini in nature, just like Sandee as well, we like a plethora of things, and we like to see the beauty within a lot of different things and find the connection with them. And for me, I enjoy movies. I enjoy shows. I enjoy anime. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan still. And the reason why I love these things, the reason why I feel so connected, is because of the spiritual messages that are ingrained and articulated and expressed through these forms of entertainment. Where I don't just see it as entertainment, I see it also as interconnectedness with the one source. So, it's really fascinating with this Indiana Jones stuff and how they had a literal movie about the Ark of the Covenant. And then, like Sandee was talking about, in that movie, they showed the electrical energy that it was able to contain and harness. And it also showed how it was able to basically connect you to other dimensions and beings in those dimensions. And you read the scripture, you study about what they say about Moses. They say that those were the kind of energies that Moses was able to work with when he came into interaction with the Ark of the Covenant. And then he got the tablet out on Mount Sinai. It's really cool. And also, I think that name that came through was their translation of Moses. Pretty sure that's what that was, because there was no name anywhere like that. But from what came to me when I was looking it up, that was them in their way of spelling and translating the word Moses.
Right. Got it. Got
Back to you.
Could you keep that picture up for just a minute?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, what Marcus is saying is that vibrates with me is there was a point in my life when I was transitioning into, or I had transitioned into my, what I would call my born again spiritual phase, right? Born again, spiritual, rededicate your life to Christ, and even though I still didn't believe in being a sinner, right? I did this because I believed I was getting a little bit closer to my one-to-one with the divine. But I noticed with this, and the community church that I went to, the non-denominational church, I found a lot of limitation and a lot of separating for me, which meant it was the part about separating music. They called it Christian music versus secular music of the earth, and everything that was evil, and that was witchcraft, and that was demonic, and the whole kind of thing. And then I found that also my children's TV time, which at that time I gave them, they had an hour before we went to school, which was, at that time when they were small, not small, like little, but, about between 5, 7, and 9, right? And there was nothing on TV for them that was Christian based. But they couldn't go and, watch the secular TV. So there was nothing. It was very limited. They couldn't enjoy cartoons. Like when I was a kid, I enjoyed Yogi Bear. And when I go back and watch Yogi Bear and all those cartoons, they have some very dynamic spiritual information. So I had to make a choice. Was I going to live in limitations, or was I going to allow my children to grow and expand and find that informational basis? I could sit there and watch it with them, and when they had a question, I would answer it. Right? So by the time they got to watching stuff like Indiana Jones, they got to know what was vibrationally what they were in attunement with vibrationally. It's all about your discernment. It's all about your choices. It's all about you having an open mind and stepping outside of your limitations, hence ascending beyond your limitations, taking a deep dive into the unknown of you and finding out what's next in your vibrational movement in this beautiful expanse of duality. Take what resonates with you. When I'm going to tell you right now, looking at this picture in Indiana Jones and actually watching it, I actually understand why I was vibrating so much when I was watching that movie, that particular movie, that particular one, the Ark of the Covenant. And it was like, oh, that's part of the Bible that I get, that I did read. And it took till whenever that first aired to get me to understand. But I couldn't explain it to anybody else because all they thought it was just a movie, a bunch of, hocus pocus. Why? Because in my Baptist background and in a lot of your born again religious backgrounds, they teach you that the articles, you're not to worship them. You're not to worship idols or any of these things that hold very powerful vibrational growth and expansion. So take a moment and just think outside your box. That's all the divine wants you to do. That's all Ra wants you to do. Think outside your box of limitation. And then for those who are saying, well, I've never had a shift, I'm going to just say, you're guaranteed to shift if you think outside your comfort zone. Just a little bit. I finally understand that what replaced the story of me being sinful was that I was sovereign. I'm a sovereign being with a human, glorious, beautiful body that it's encased in, with a glorious mind that it can think about the energy of the things that it's showing me. And that I don't need any one particular entity to grow and expand me. All I've got to do is dive. They're here to give us lessons. I take it in, I assess it or discern it, and decide where I want to go from there. And then all my spiritual guides, all my archangels, everything is going to work or play with me and assist me to get to where I vibrationally want to go. I'm going to tell you, this blew my mind. I wanted him to keep this Ark of the Covenant up because it was a vibrational story that finally the pieces connected for me. Right? I'm going to leave it at this closing, because if not, I would be here until 12, but I got somewhere to be at 12:15. So, man, oh man, I'm going to make sure I'm here next week. If he's do you have anything on Wednesday next week? Because I'm going to be here next week, because there's still more about this ark. There's still more about this covenant. Now my pieces, I'm going to tell you, really now, my pieces are beginning to fit from Bible to different, even with the divine design and where aliens fit. And I don't like calling them aliens, but extraterrestrials fit. That's just another expression of the divine. We just call them aliens because they come from a different dimension of Earth consciousness. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I like to thank Ra. Thank Ra for this information. And it's not that you have to have a book. You can be in your meditative, and you can call on whoever you want to call on. Whatever expression and version of you want to hear from. Ra is an expression and version of us. Not different from us. Dimensionally expansive than where we are, but a version of us. So thank you so much for allowing me to come into your room and share the divine through me. Thank you so much. Back to you.
With that being said, may we close this space with honor, reverence, respect, and gratitude for all that has been expressed. I'd like to give gratitude for our ancestors before us, our ancestors of the future. I give thanks to Ra and to all of us in this human body and human plane. May we close this space and carry forward the divinity and the medicine that we need. May we move forward anew, regenerated and rebirthed from who we were before this space. And if there is anything lingering, may we allow ourselves to use our conscious power to acknowledge it, to love it, to transmute it as the I am. That being said, as we close out, a couple of reminders for you guys coming up. May the 3rd and 4th, Hocking Hills, Ohio. I have a Hocking Hills retreat That will be on the 3rd and the 4th of May. Hocking Hills, Ohio. Holistic sound healing, shadow work, Star Wars, and a little bit more. Camping, provided meals. Reach out if you have questions. 27th of this month, I'll be in Columbus for a Columbus Salt Cave event. And I'll be doing an inner child healing at the Columbus Salt Cave. And then June, we have a Colorado retreat. July, we have a Veterans Holistic Healing Retreat in Ohio. Then in August, we will be celebrating the Lionsgate portal in Sedona, Arizona. So there's a lot going on, a lot of beautiful opportunities, whether you want to hold a workshop, be a practitioner, or if you would just like to be a guest attendee, reach out, ask questions. I will guide you as needed. And for all of you out there, thank you so much for being a part of this space. And thank you to all of you, Danica, Samantha, my queen, Rhonda, all for commenting and being a part of this space and making it what it is. Thank you guys. And I wish you guys all a beautiful, beautiful day full of wholeness and balanced love.
So I want to ask Marcus one thing. When you come into Cali, when are you going to do a workshop out here?
You know, that's one that's definitely been on my radar. You know, I think California would be a good time for the fall or early winter. What's your guys' weather like during that period? Is it like pretty decent, like 70s-ish?
We're Cali, so we got summer all year round. Depending on, you know, what you believe is cold. Okay, I think the only time that Cali dips is anytime from 3 in the morning till maybe 5. We have that really cold like dip, but we never really get. I don't believe we get colder than 60 at any time. So some people from the east think 60 is summertime. You know, so fall is 80s, anywhere between 70s and
perfect,
80s.
yeah.
And winter is anywhere between maybe 70s to 60s. And sometimes at night it'll go below that, maybe 59 or 58, depending. But most times we might be asleep. You think California is not the place that doesn't sleep, but there's parts of us that don't sleep. Okay, so, but
Sweet.
I'm just saying, Cali is waiting for you.
Yeah, I know it is. 'Cause I got a couple peeps out there, including you. And what I'm feeling right now is I think the fall is what's calling, and I'm actually going to reach out to you, and I'm going to talk about some things with you and see what kind of local things are around to access, and to see what kind of resources I can utilize and set up out there. But yeah, I think fall or early winter is what we're going to do for this year.
Okay. Woo! See, you asked
Thanks
a
for bringing
question,
that up.
you get an answer.
Exactly. And that's something about me is like, you know, being a life path 33, I'm ready for stuff. I'm a manifester, human design. So the thing with me is like, I'm always ready. So it's just really about like, are the people around me ready? Or are they just gonna, you know, ask the questions, bring it to the table? And I'm always open. If something resonates, something works for me, then I'm all about it. Because there's not anything in this world that I'm allowing to stop me from serving the all.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm finding out it's like, I gotta ask, you know,
Yes.
we're called
I'm
to
so glad you
serve.
did.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong when the divine shares with me. We're called to serve. We're called to serve. The positive polarity, the way Ross says it, positive polarity is service to others. And then your service to self is always taken care of, because you are part of the service to others. You're not separated from the others. You're part of them. And the negative that Ra speaks is service to self only at the expense of anybody around you. Doesn't mean you can't do it. There are a lot of higher beings that are choosing to see what that's about. It does. All the higher beings weren't told that all they can do is do service to self. They were given free will, just like our body and our mind were given free wills. So imagine the free will of your higher being or soul, if you call it that, and the free will of your body and mind. Imagine how powerful you are with any of your stories that we get, and that we have the opportunity to tap into all of the polarities, higher, mid polarity, and lower polarity. To tap into our deeper selves, to allow our higher beings to begin to recall where they came from, why they are here, and why they created your beautiful, wonderful body. And with that, I have to say thank you very much. See you on next week, raw same time. What is that? Raw day, raw time. I love you guys. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Wholeness and balanced love.
If your soul feels out of sync with the universe, it's time to reconnect. Join us at Ascending with Our Roots Holistic Retreat, taking place on May 3rd and 4th at the breathtaking Hocking Hills State Park. This retreat is packed with transcending healing practices and self-empowerment. Day 1 kicks off with a sacred cacao blessing, dives deep into shadow work and biofield tuning at Rose Lake, and ends with a vibrant evening of fire and flow arts. Day 2 features sunrise nature yoga, a picturesque group hike through Hocking Hills, and a guided elemental meditation. Enjoy free time for one-on-one healing sessions or self-reflection before joining our playful inner child hooping flow shop. We'll close the retreat with more fire and flow arts under the stars. Vegetarian and vegan meals are provided and tent rentals are available. And don't forget, May 4th is Star Wars Day, so let your inner Jedi shine. Register now by scanning the QR code, visiting our Facebook event page, or sending a DM to Marcus Christolight. May the 4th be with you.
Ascending with Our Roots, Hocking Hills Holistic Retreat, coming up May the 3rd and the 4th. There will be holistic healing workshops like sound healing, guided meditation, yoga, and more, cacao ceremony, fire and flow arts. Along with that, meals provided, vegetarian and vegan, hiking, as well as primitive camping. Scan the QR code to get started. Use the Jot form link in the Facebook event page or reach out with questions.